Want to learn how to install one of our premium pet doors through an entry door of your home? Watch this video. Hey folks, it's Adam with Outdoor Pet Solutions. Today I'm going to take you in the van and we're going out on the job. I'm going to show you step by step how to properly install one of our premium pet doors through an exterior door of your home. Let's get going. Alright, so here we are out on the job, and as you can see I prefer to carry the entry door outside to install the pet door. This will make your job a whole lot easier rather than trying to install it while it's hanging up in your home. So go ahead and remove it from the hinges. You can do that by popping the pins or unscrewing the hinges, and just carry it outside and place it on a set of sawhorses. When you do that, make sure that the interior side of that door is facing up towards you, because you'll be tracing out the interior frame panel of the pet door. Go ahead and remove the security panel first, and then separate the interior pet door panel from the exterior pet door panel. Remove the cardboard insert and the hardware packet that's inside the pet door as well. The hardware packet will include a postcard in there with a QR code that you can scan and pull up the step-by-step instructions on how to install the pet door. So the first thing you want to do is trace out the interior frame panel of your pet door. You want to determine where you're going to place this pet door. You want to make sure that the top of the flap opening, which I'm measuring up to right now, is 1 to 2 inches above the back of your tallest pet, so to the withers. And then you want to make sure the bottom of the pet door is low enough to where your shortest dog won't be tripping through it. So that's crucial to get this measurement correct. You don't want it too high off the ground, and you don't want it so low that you've got a taller dog that's crawling through the pet door. Once you figure out the height placement, you'll move on to centering the pet door left to right by measuring from the outer edge of the right side of your entry door and the outer edge of the left side. Make sure those measurements are equal. And you'll want to do this at all 4 corners of the pet door. And I'm pushing the measuring tape up against the interior frame, the telescoping part of the frame that goes into your entry door. Of course, take your time with this step. You want to get it right the first time. You don't want to be going back and trying to alter that opening because you made a miscut because you didn't measure correctly. Just make sure everything is good and centered. Split the difference if it comes down to a 1/16. I try to make this as absolutely perfect as possible, so just take your time with it. Once you have your pet door perfectly lined up, it's time to trace out the opening that you'll be cutting. I use a Sharpie because it gives me a nice thick black line to guide my cutting blade through. Make sure you're tracing up against the telescoping portion of the pet door that will be sinking down into the entry door. Now that you've got your hole perfectly traced out, you're gonna drill out a couple of corners. I'm using a 3/8 inch thick drill bit with a cordless standard drill. You're gonna drill out 2 opposite corners. You can drill out all 4 corners. I just drill out 2 and then cut out from those 2 points. Anytime you're cutting through a door, you need to protect yourself, especially if it's a fiberglass door. You don't want to be breathing in those fine particles that are going to be floating up in the air as you're making your cut. So make sure you protect yourself with a dust mask, preferably an N95, and a good set of safety glasses to protect your eyes from those same particles. You'll want to keep the surface of the entry door clean. So clean it, sweep it off in between cuts so that you don't run the risk of dragging any rough material across the surface of your entry door and scratching it up. I'll even go as far as taking some cardboard to place on the entry door to rest my cutting tool on so I don't run the risk of scratching the entry door. I'm using a standard jigsaw with a jigsaw blade. Now that's a metal cutting blade. Even though we're cutting fiberglass, fiberglass is a very soft material, and that fine tooth 21 tooth per inch blade will cut real nicely in the fiberglass. That is a 5 1/4 inch long blade. That is very important. Don't use a standard short jigsaw blade. You won't reach all the way through your entry door, and so it'll make your cut a disaster. A lot of folks are intimidated about cutting through an entry door, especially if they hear that it's a steel door. Just keep in mind, if it's fiberglass or steel, that's the outer skin that they're referencing when they're describing an entry door like that. The inside of the door is actually hollow. It's pumped full of expansion foam, so it's fairly easy to cut through. The key is you don't want to be cutting through the stiles and rails of the entry door. Those are the structural frame components that run the outer edge of the entry door. So the stiles run the left and right side of the door from top to bottom, and the rails are at the top, run across the top and bottom of the door. So you just want to stay out of the rails or stiles so you don't jeopardize the integrity of your door. Remember, as you're cutting along the lines that you traced out on the door there, you want to place the jigsaw blade to the outer edge of that line. As you mark it with the Sharpie, you're going to have a thick black line all the way around. Make sure the blade is to the outside edge of that marked line. This will give you a little bit of breathing room so that when you put the pet door in place, it won't be so darn tight that you're going to be fighting it to get it in to the hole that you cut open. I'll then use a leaf blower to blow off the work surface to remove all the remaining debris from the cut we just made. Next, you'll want to take the interior side panel of your pet door and place it in the opening that you just cut, and then take the exterior side and go ahead and sandwich them together. They're going to be a bit of a tight fit. They're designed to kind of hug each other, and you'll just take a quick clamp, reach down in the middle of the two panels, and you're going to clamp one side just to hold the two panels together in place just long enough so that you can make some fine-tune adjustments and centering that door exactly the way you want in the opening. Once you've made your fine-tune adjustments, go ahead and grab another speed clamp and put that in place and tighten down on the two frames. This will hold them together. You can get away with 2 clamps, but I tend to go a little overkill, and I'll put 4 clamps in there just to make sure I've got even pressure applied to the pet door frame on all 4 corners. Sometimes after you're done clamping, the frame may have shifted on you, so I always just double check, and everything seems to be good and lined up. Next, you're going to open up your hardware packet, and inside will be a provided drill bit along with a set of screws. There are 2 different lengths of screws, short and long. With a hollow door such as this, you can use the long screws to screw your 2 pet door frames together. But first, you need to load the drill bit into a drill, and you'll be piloting the holes. Inside the frame, on the exterior side of the frame, there are already pre-drilled holes from the factory. You'll need to then pilot through those holes through to the interior panel so that you can screw the 2 panels together. Next, you'll swap the drill bit out for a Phillips bit in your drill, and I like to set the drill to a half chuck. That way you don't overstrip the screws as you're driving them in. Next, you'll simply just remove your quick clamps. Now that your pet door frames are tightly screwed together, they will hold in place to the exterior door. Here is an up-close view of those screws in place. A lot of times when you're drilling through that metal frame, metal shavings will collect all over the magnets of the pet door flaps. So I like to take a leaf blower and blow those off and get all those metal shavings cleaned off. I'll take this opportunity to clean the interior flap as well. Next, go ahead and remove the blue tape. That's applied from the factory to protect the frame from the security panel as it's shipped. Notice this security panel is loading in from the right side. We ordered it that way so that it wouldn't catch if you order it with a top loading security panel. It would catch that frame of the glass above it. So we ordered it where it'll load in the side. Now I'll flip the entry door over so that I'll be working on the exterior side of the pet door. Now that I've got the door flipped over, I will clean the exterior flap. And now I will take some painter's tape. Frog tape works really good, and I'm going to tape the edges of the pet door. Now what I'm doing is I'm prepping it to caulk the outside, to seal it up. And I like nice, clean, straight caulk lines. So to achieve that, if you take some painter's tape and apply it along the edges of the pet door, leaving about 1/8 of an inch gap between the edge of the painter's tape and the frame of the pet door, will allow you to apply that sealant, and then you'll be able to remove the painter's tape and it'll leave you with a nice crisp line of sealant all the way around your pet door. Here's a close-up look of that gap between the edge of the painter's tape and the edge of your pet door. Like I said, you want about 1/8 of an inch all the way around to apply your sealant. The sealant I'll be using is made by DAP. It's Dynaflex 230. This stuff is great. It's exterior grade, it's paintable, and it's highly flexible. So it'll flex with the hot and cold differences throughout the year. Apply your bead all the way around the pet door. Keep in mind you don't want to throw a lot of sealant at this, just enough to coat that gap that you made with the painter's tape up against the pet door frame. And if you notice, I'm not going to seal across the bottom. The reason is if water gets trapped between the panels, you need it to go somewhere. So if you were to seal the bottom of that pet door up, now you're going to trap water inside, and that can cause some issues. So don't caulk along the bottom of the pet door. Leave that open. Go ahead and run a wet finger across the caulk lines to smooth it out, and then you'll be able to remove the tape. Here's a close-up view of those crisp, clean, straight caulk lines. And that's a wrap. Here's a look of the finished product hanging back up in the home. I think it turned out quite nicely. That's the interior side, of course, and then we'll take a look outside as well. Thanks for tagging along with me, and I hope this video was helpful in showing you how it is to install our premium pet door through an exterior door. If you're seeking out the best option when it comes to pet doors, I highly recommend the premium pet door. It's the only line of pet door that I'll install for my customers because it delivers the best insulating value. For the extreme cold weather to the extreme hot weather, it performs wonderfully. It's backed by the best customer service in the industry, followed by a lifetime frame warranty and a 10-year prorated flap warranty. There are 11 different sizes to choose from to fit dogs of all sizes. Pricing on the website does include UPS ground shipping to anywhere in the US. So click the link in the description and order yours today. And as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.